Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis in early October, and I want to do a quick update on my Cattleya nobiliors. I'm not going to show you the whole collection because it's probably kind of boring, but I do want to talk about some of the imports as well as some of the domestic ones that I've got, and just give you sort of an idea, hopefully, of what yours look like, and maybe an idea of one that you don't want yours to look like, unfortunately. If you recall, I've got a bunch of nobiliors that I've been growing for years, and some that are smaller and younger, and some that I imported about this time a year ago from Brazil. And I did a few experiments. Well, I did one experiment testing a new media that I see a lot of the Brazilian growers using. And I tested it on a couple of the plants that I have that were imports also. So I want to let you know what I found out about those, if I'll be using this new media in the future or not. Also, Tethonias are amazing Mexican sunflowers, and if you grow them really well, they can get over 10 feet tall. So this thing is just a monster back here. You can see my fence is probably 6 feet tall, and then in front of it is this Tethonia that's just starting to bloom and bringing in all the monarchs as they come through the area. And of course, this one is just covered in hummingbirds at all times. Anyway, let's get the camera turned around and check out some imports and domesticated Cattleya nobilior. So we're going to take a look at these in just a second, but first, I want to show you this one. Got this from Donato 2024. This is upside down, as you can see. And it is Edeline by Pink. And my buddy Chris in Houston mounted it on a piece of oak, which is his preferred way of growing it. And I figured it, I think it would be cool to see how it does here in San Antonio where it's less humid. And boy, so far, this thing is just, it's really done nicely. It doesn't grow quite as quickly as the potted ones, as you can tell. But what it's doing is it's gathering strength. And look at those roots crawling across the backside there. And then it put out this nice new growth here. This one up front, which is still looks like a nice bulb. And you can see the back bulbs are shriveled, which is to be expected for a new plant acclimating to a mounted life in a fairly dry area like where I live. But, I mean, this thing is putting out great new roots. It's got roots hanging off the bottom here. They've crawled all the way back and down, and this is a success. So I will definitely be doing this again. And what I'm excited to do is put a screw here and a screw here, and then just a cable across the top, and then I can hang it, next to my catasetums, and I can hang it over the winter too. Speaking of catasetums, check out these transversa callosum buds. They're just monstrous. They look like raptor claws to me. And also a cool little angrecoid. But that's not why we're here. Let's go check these out. So I'm going to start off with the domestic plants, ones that I've had either for a while or divisions of. So I got this. This is an Amalii that I have not seen bloom. I got it from my friend Gene, and it has really just taken off. Looks great. And this is potted in my usual mix of really large grade orchiata in a clay pot. And during the growing season, it's so hot here that I hit these guys every day with water and a little bit of fertilizer in that water. What's frustrating is seeing these root tips. You see how they just kind of grow and they abort. And this is either snail damage or cockroach damage. And these are not the types of cockroaches that you find in your kitchen. The overwhelming majority of cockroaches do live outside and have no interest in human food, but they love to eat tender new root tips. So I have seen a few of those running around, so it could be either one. This is one of my many Cattleya nobiliors that I have from my friend Chris. And I don't remember when I potted this one. I think it was this year. but it's done really nicely. Yeah, that's right. It was this year because I got most of my collection back from him. He had stored my collection for a couple of years at his place. And so, both of these are doing really nicely. This one back here is the polyploid cerulean with those monstrous flowers. And I'll show a photo here of the polyploid next to a typical Cattleya nobilior. And you can see it looks like it could absolutely eat it. The blooms on this one last for 6 weeks, whereas a typical nobilior will be 3 weeks. 6 weeks, easy peasy for this. It's just a phenomenal plant, and I let it grow over the side of the pot, as you can see. And this is nobilior goals. This is what you want your plants to look like. Maybe not quite rambling over the side of a pot, but certainly just huge. And I should get a bunch of bloom spikes this spring. Here was a chewed up leaf that had died. And then, some of these older leaves are popping off, which is to be expected, but the roots are growing in and out of here. And what I'm going to do probably next year is rather than repotting it, it's sort of turned into a mount. So I'll just take the whole thing, turn it sideways, and hang it. And that way I'll have it's sort of a repotting session for this one without actually repotting it. And so having this whole thing tilted that way and hanging up there will look really cool. Anyway, that's just a few of my domestic ones. Let's check out some of these imports. I'm going to start out with the most frustrating one. This is one of the most beautiful flowers that I've ever seen on a nobilior. It was doing well. It put this growth out for me this year, and it's got rot. So I have a Walkeriana that's next to these, and I noticed that one of the plants got rot, and it just moved really quickly down the plant. And so I had to throw that division away, and you can see how the leaf axil here is yellow. In fact, I can just pop it off. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I'm probably just going to have to toss the whole thing because that sort of yellow discoloration seems to be through this whole bulb here. You see how this is kind of a beige brown, I guess? That means that the rot has progressed through here and is probably going through the whole plant. So I'm really sad about that. That it was doing nicely and then got sick, which happens, unfortunately. This is another one that I got at the same time in the same batch, and this is a sibling of the one that got rot. You can see it's put out a couple of small new growths, which is not super great, but not terrible. So when you're acclimating a plant to very new conditions, any growth will put out new roots. And new roots means this plant should be just fine. And this time next year, it should be putting out bulbs this size, but hopefully without the rot. So this is one of my favorites. It's looking a little rough, but not too terrible. And it's got a couple of different locations where it put out new roots on the new flowers. And some of them you can see took off. Well, you can't really see the ones that took off. But some of those are diving into the pot. And then, of course, some of them on top here sort of aborted. And I don't know if that's because of snails or it was too dry or what. But this one's holding tight. I was hoping it would look much nicer by now. And we'll see. Unfortunately, I'm not out of the woods yet. I don't know why it didn't put out a totally new growth this summer when it had the conditions that all of its relatives over here enjoy so much. But I'll keep a close eye on this one over the winter and give it the types of things that it needs. This is another one. This is the experiment that I did with the media. This is a rice husk with a lot of perlite. So this is what it looks like. I like to hit my plants every day with water, and this media stayed too wet. So I won't use this again. I'll probably repot this in spring in typical orchid bark. And you can see I excavated about half of the media that was in here so that it does dry completely between waterings, which in my preferred conditions is every day. This year was a little cooler than what I'm used to. So these were drying out every other day, which is fine. So instead of hitting them with water every day, it was every other day. This is another plant that's in the same media, but of course it's in a smaller pot. This is from Floralia that I got a couple of years ago. It is Cerulean. Oh, I don't know. It's just a nobilior. I don't think it's anything particularly special, but it's grown strangely. So you can see that it sort of grew up instead of sideways. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just seeing this now for the first time. It's got great new root tips. So, and it's wiggly. So I'm going to get this in a different pot, probably a pot that size with some orchiata. This is another one of those imports from Brazil. It's smaller. You can see it's putting out a new growth. I don't know if you can see it right there. This was also in that rice husk media, but it's dried out more quickly since it's in a smaller pot, which means it's fine. I'm gonna drop this into orchiata bark, small grade orchiata bark in the same size pot, since it's putting out a new growth here and should be putting out new roots soon. So it's a mixed bag, I guess, for the imports. With this one being absolutely heartbreaking since it was growing perfectly, exactly how I wanted it to grow, and then got sick. I'll probably have to throw this one away. And then this one doing okay, this one doing okay, and then these ones doing fairly well, even though they're in a media that I experimented with and wasn't super excited about the results. But so I'll do a little repotting right now, and I hope everyone is having a great weekend and that you can see this Polystachya neobenthamia, which puts on a very wonderful fragrant show about this time every year. Anyway, see ya.